Hey guys, Geisha here. Before we jump into today's episode, I want to give a quick warning. This episode may include sensitive topics like violence, murder, suicide, mental health struggles, sexual assault, and other real life events that could be upsetting. We know that these topics can be tough to hear, and your well being is super important to us. So please take care of yourself while listening and feel free to skip this episode if needed. Welcome to Co-op Chronicles. This is episode 59. Welcome back to Co-op Chronicles. This is episode 59. I am Pint-Sized Geisha, and I have Blacklabel.
Hello.
And Azzilee.
Hello.
And today's episode is...
We're going to share some... What is it? What was it?
Supernatural or...
Crime survivor stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we were supposed to pick one where they survived.
No.
Oh,
okay.
I mean, it's just whatever you want to pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just stories.
Okay.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? Who wants to start it? Wait, I guess, how is everybody doing?
Oh. Good.
Good, fine. No, yeah.
I got it.
It was 4th of July weekend this weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. 4th of July weekend. Happy day. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was your week? While you're over there typing a million things.
My week was good. I only had a 3-day work week.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I had a 4-day work.
Oh, nice.
4-day
I'll
weekend.
have a 3-day week this week.
Yeah.
I'm off tomorrow.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I am all. No, I don't know. I mean, I had a good week though. We had a good. Went to our friend's house, played some beer pong for the first time. That was fun.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "This is your first time? No way!" Because that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It was at Fabian's.
Crushed it.
Shout out to
Carbonated Concepts.
Yeah.
Yep.
CC.
We're also CC,
Mm-hmm.
and Caitlin Clark is also CC. Shout out Indiana Fever. That's.
Is she out still with an injury?
I think so. She's the only reason why I watched the WNBA.
She's the only reason most people watch.
Yeah. I mean, I like Sue Bird since we're over here, but yeah. All right. Who wants to go first?
Can I go first?
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
go for it.
Okay, I have two. First one is going to be on the Andes flight disaster of 1972.
Okay.
So it's also known as the Miracle of the Andes because the survivors lasted 72 days on this mountain.
Oh, they survived.
There was some.
Oh, that's crazy. 72 days on a mountain.
So in October 1972, the 13th, Uruguayan Flight 571 was carrying 45 passengers, mainly a rugby team and their friends and families.
Before I interrupt you, I muted you, so go for it. All right.
Now I can't engage.
No, you can't. So when.
Still trying to do my research here.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
They crashed in the Andes Mountains on their way to Chile. So the accident occurred because the pilot mistakenly thought that he had arrived at the airport and began his descent, but due to low visibility, he was too low once he realized they were still in the mountains to regain altitude by the time he saw the mountains. So after the initial crash, 3 crew members and 9 passengers died immediately, and the plane crashed at just over 12,000 feet. And despite search and rescue planes flying overhead several times over the length of like 8 days, they never found the survivors because they were in in the story it's like a fuselage. I don't know if that's like the main part of the plane, but they were in the fuselage and it blended in with the snow, so they were never found. So after 8 days, the search party was called off and the passengers had to rescue themselves.
Oh my God. You said the Andes?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the Andes at? Is that Colorado?
Andy Mountains.
No, it's in South America.
Oh. What am I thinking of? The Colorado Rockies? Or is that a baseball
Probably.
team? I don't know.
I
I think
don't
the
know.
Rockies is like the mountain range in the U.S. But while the search and rescue was flying overhead, the survivors tried to write SOS on the fuselage in lipstick, but they ran out of lipstick, so they couldn't write it.
There's
then-
no way they could see that.
Yeah, and then they tried to use luggage to like notify the planes above head, but that didn't work as well. So stranded with no proper weather gear, they began using plane debris, luggage, seats, and snow to survive. So they built a solar-powered water collector, used seat covers to keep warm, and then used seat cushions as like snowshoes. They had a ration. They had to ration what little food they could find, which what they found was 8 chocolate bars, 3 little jam jars. They had a tin of mussels, tin of almonds, various fruits, and then some wine bottles. But once they ran out of food, they had to resort to eating the cotton stuffing and leather from their like belts and shoes, and that made them sick.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
Obviously in stories like this, the go-to answer would be cannibalism.
Cannibalism.
So each survivor gave permission that if they died, the others could eat their bodies. And obviously because it's like a foreign country, most of the passengers were Roman Catholics, so they were like really against this. But
That's a no-no.
yeah, after time, they kind of had to they had to convince themselves to like take this approach as like receiving the Holy Communion, so that they could feel better about it. And if you like, because there's like, I'll get to it later. Hold on. So after that happened, so on day 17, as everyone was like, coping, there was an avalanche that occurred that killed 8 more people because it filled
Jesus.
the fuselage with snow. And so it smothered some people, and they finally were able to like take a rod and like dig a hole out of the fuselage so like the remaining survivors could get out, thankfully.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then so there's a lot of stuff about cannibalism. I don't want to get into it, but there's a whole thing about it. So later on day 61, 2 of the survivors, Nando Parado and Roberto Canessa, hiked 10 days across glaciers and mountains where they eventually were found by a Chilean herdsman. And on December 20th, 1972, the remaining survivors were finally rescued.
Wait, so did those 2 that were found by the guy, did they die?
No, they were alive.
Oh,
That's how
okay.
they got to
Gotcha,
get to the survivors. But there's a bunch of books. There's a lot of interviews. There's even a movie. In 1993, they made a movie called Alive on this story. But yeah, it's crazy.
That is insane.
I was 72 days.
It's always impressive.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
impressive when you see like survivors. Like, what was that movie with James Franco?
174 hours. Or
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, obviously that's not 72 days, but
That
still,
one's crazy.
he like chopped off his
He had to
hand,
like break his arm.
chop it off with
use
like a little
Swiss
knife. Oh my god! And yeah,
I can't. That movie was. Ugh. It's.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's. When I watch movies like that, I just get like my heart starts racing really fast. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
makes me never want to go do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You ever watch the movies or like YouTube videos of people going cave diving, and they're like,
Yeah,
Alright.
we watched one.
they're like, I gotta release all the air in my breath to get through this crevice, and I'm like, why?
Oh yeah, those people are insane. I don't. It's always white people.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. It's either
Yeah.
it's white people or Europeans, and it's like why? Why do you want to put yourself in some sort of danger?
I get people get off on like adrenaline. It makes them feel alive, or they get some kind
the
of
claustrophobia
yeah.
that
I
I,
just
will
don't
feel
get
it.
it.
Yeah. Do you want to go again, or you want to save it for after one of ours?
I don't mind going.
It's up to you.
Oh, you can go, or one of you guys can go.
I don't care.
Do you have yours yet, babe?
Yep.
Or, here, how about I go? All right. Or do you want to go?
I don't care.
All right, I'll go. Since me and Azzilee both picked this one by mistake, we both
Yeah.
had this one prepared. All right, this one is The Haunting of Doris Bither. They didn't believe her until they saw it too. So in 1974, a woman named Doris Bither, living in a cramped house in Culver City, California, claimed she was being attacked by someone or something that no one else could see. At first, it sounded like a desperate cry for help. She was a single mother dealing with trauma, poverty, and strained relationship with her kids. But what started as an eerie disturbance quickly spiraled into something more violent and pretty terrifying. This wasn't just creaking floors or cold air. According to everyone involved, the family, the neighbors, the investigators, there was something really going on in the house, and whatever it wasn't just haunting Doris. It was targeting this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take a drink.
A little sippy. I'm just drinking Coke.
Okay, so who was Doris Bither? Doris wasn't a celebrity. She wasn't famous or wealthy. She was a single mom of 4 struggling to survive in a place that offered her very little support. Reports say she was, she had a difficult past, pretty much. She was obviously sheltered. She had she was in abusive relationships. She had a chaotic household. By all accounts, she loved her children, though. And she was doing her best to hold it down and take care of these kids and keep it all together. So they lived in a rundown house on Braddock Drive, small, crowded, claustrophobic. And for a while, it was tense but livable. And then things started changing. Doris told investigators that the first signs of something wrong came from a form of oppressive energy. I'm not sure what that is or what that means, but I think it's like where you just feel like something's out to get you. I don't know.
Oppressive?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like something's like weighing down on you.
Okay.
Like a presence or like a feeling.
Gotcha. So what she described as a feeling like being watched every second while she was alone. Her children noticed it too. One of them said that it felt like the house was breathing at night. And then came the whispers, the slamming doors, objects moving slightly when no one was near them. Doris claimed she would wake up in the middle of the night and feel someone standing over her. No one would be there, but she felt it. Heavy, cold, pressing down, and then things escalated in a way that no one, not even a seasoned investigator, was prepared to hear. She claimed she was physically assaulted by something invisible repeatedly, and she wasn't the only one to witness it. By the children's account, her oldest son reported seeing the mother thrown across the room one night with no visible attacker. According to another child, they saw the light bulb shatter above her without impact. It was just shattered. So one of the kids later told the researchers it wasn't a ghost. It was like the air had teeth in a way.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like this is from that movie.
Conjuring.
Yes.
Even more disturbing, they said the house would go totally quiet before something happened, as if there was no wind, no humming, no traffic, no nothing. It was just silent, and then violence. Things just started happening.
The Conjuring 2.
Yep. So the investigators... What?
The second one. The second Conjuring.
So the investigators, Barry Taff and Carrie Gaynor, they were working with the UCLA at the time. They were contacted by Doris. They initially approached the case like skeptics, another ghost story, probably stress, mental illness, or misunderstood poltergeist type case. But what they found was different. They claimed that upon entering the home, their equipment began malfunctioning, EMFs would spike, sudden temperature drops, and most disturbingly, Doris's emotional state would shift dramatically during these moments, as if something was feeding off of her fear. So some of the evidence is during one of their sessions, they began taking Polaroid photos around the house. And I don't know what it is about Polaroid photos and ghosts, but it'd be spooky. So the goal was to capture anomalies during the moments of, the activities that they said occurred or reportedly active. And they got something. So the photos showed a thick, twisted, bands of light, as you would say it, kind of like, I don't know how to explain it.
I think bands of light is a good explanation.
Okay. So like energetic ropes, I guess, in a way, hovering above Doris. While she sat unaware, the arcs weren't from reflected lamps or camera errors. It was just in one image, the arc descended downward on her as if it was curling into her. It was like
Yeah.
spiraling into her from the ceiling.
Yeah, if you look up online, the images look like a flare on a photo.
Yeah.
And it's really weird.
Some of the images were immediately dismissed by skeptics as a lens flare or overexposure, but neither Taft nor Gaynor had ever seen a light phenomenon like that at all in their work. They believe the house itself was kind of a psychic amplifier, possibly linked to Doris's own energy. Doris described that beings not as ghosts, but as beings, as there was at least 3 of these things in the house. One of them was really large, 2 of them was smaller, and she never saw their faces, just only felt their presence. She claimed that they pinned her down, choked her, whispered in a guttural,
God.
like, "Ugh," type voice, unintelligible voices. There were no religious symbols, no patterns, no rituals, just raw fear, physical bruises, and dread. Yeah. During
I think it's worse. Like, spooky stories are like always scary, but it's worse when people have like experiences with like bruises or like being forced to do something.
assaulted.
Yeah, I think those ones are like scary to me because it's like that means that some otherworldly being has like enough power to like mess with the human world.
It's like the movie Ghosts with Patrick Swayze. You remember that? Have you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
watched that?
He was holding her hand.
He would
doing
watch. Yeah, he would watch this other horrible ghost do things, and he would use like his anger to be able to lash out and control like things around him. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So during a late night investigation, one of Doris's sons was allegedly lifted and thrown across the room in front of these 2 witnesses. Investigators recorded an extreme cold drop nearly 40 degrees in amount of seconds. The team began to panic, not because they couldn't explain it, but because like they couldn't stop it. It kept happening. They decided to step away from the case. They said that they didn't have enough resources or understanding to help them. And to this day, Barry Taft says it remains one of the most disturbing cases he's ever witnessed. Eventually, Doris and her family fled the house, but according to her sons, the hauntings didn't stop. It followed them. The new house had fewer attacks, but Doris still claimed to feel the presence. Objects moved, temperatures dropped. She continued to report being watched and touched. She lived with the trauma for decades, and in 1995 she passed away. Her children say they never found peace. One of them, Brian Harris, gave an interview years later insisting that everything that they experienced was real. He said, people think we were lying, but they didn't have to invent it. They lived through it. Paranormal
Crazy.
theorists have debated that this case for years was it either a poltergeist, was it an incubus? They were like playing Phasmophobia in a way, trying to solve this type of ghost and the energy
What's their
around
cold
it.
spot?
Yeah, for real. Who are you? Can you hear me? Others say it was a mix of traumatic background feeding a rare kind of entity attached to, whatever they were dealing with. Whatever explanation, it was insane. But they had photos to back it up. They had multiple witnesses back it up. Doris Bither obviously experienced something that changed her life and her children's lives forever. But yeah, that's all I got.
Did you say it? They made a movie based off of it.
I did not say that.
1982, The Entity.
The entity.
So
I feel like in my head, I'm like, what did Doris do? Like,
Yeah.
what happened?
Yeah, it's weird.
To where, like, this thing attached itself to her.
I mean,
You know?
you never know. It's like, what was that one
there's
movie?
a lot of superstitions.
Yeah. Like, did you whistle at night?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Don't whistle at night, everybody.
Whistle at night.
I mean, I do, but that's for my dogs. I'm still alive. Fingers crossed it stays that way.
Yeah.
Do you think it was like it was her personally, or do you think something just was at this house and it followed her?
I don't know.
It might be the
It's hard.
house, and then it just attached to her.
I always see some crazy stuff on like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube of people recording what they're going through in their house, and I don't know. I can't tell if it's fake or not because
know.
they're so good at setting shit up nowadays. And
I
it's
like the guy who his fridge door open, and then it's like when your ghost has no house manners, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, "Shut it," and it shuts.
And there was another one where the ghost would like knock over his. I'm pretty sure this one's fake. It's like on TikTok or Instagram, and he's doing his laundry, and the ghost would keep knocking his detergent down, and he's like, "What's going on? What do you want me to do? why won't you let me do my laundry? And he kept doing it. And then it opened up the thing, and his cat was inside of the wash machine or something. He's like, oh, there you
Thanks.
are. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but there's some crazy ones out. I seen one where this like little girl's like trying to make a bowl of cereal, and it looks like it pulls it away from her, and she's like a toddler. I don't know. That one looks crazy real
There's
to me.
a lot of crazy ones
think-
out there.
Supernatural stories are usually because the house is haunted, and then it just like transfers to the people living
Like
there.
attaches to them.
Like if you ever watch what's the show? It's called. Starts with an S. It's a scary movie. Sinister.
Oh, yeah,
That
that's
one
a good
is
one.
like the house is haunted, and then it transfers to a family, and then when the family moves, it transfers to the new house, so it's now a new haunted house, and then it just transfers from family to family that way.
It's just like a fucking Airbnb ghost.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. I always thought it was opposite. Like maybe it's because like a little bit of Japanese supernatural is where it attaches to the house and it can't transfer to something else. It like
okay.
it is like this bad energy, right? Gets released and then it gets stuck.
I feel like Japanese ghosts are terrifying compared to like
They got
American
the
stories.
The ribbon lady in
Yeah,
Japanese.
there's
culture.
so many. Well, there's so many like Japanese ghosts, and then there's Japanese like demons. There's so many Japanese demons. No, the demons.
The fox lady is a demon, right? There's like a fox one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like the demon ones are the ones that can travel around and walk around, but the energy ones are the ones that are stuck in the house.
Ooh, I like the
I can't-
scary
I don't know
Japanese
for sure.
story where
I
like
forget.
the head detaches from the lady's body and then like floats around at night. trying to
What?
find
Oh yeah,
victims.
I've heard that one.
That one's
a
cool.
demon.
Yeah.
I've seen the one where it's a Japanese
I
taxi
think.
driver, and then somebody gets in the back of his
Oh, I've
car,
seen
and he's
that one.
talking to them, but there's
And
nobody
then
on
the
the
door
camera.
opens.
and
Yeah, the door
leaves,
opens.
but there's nobody on the
but
camera.
there's nobody in the
Yeah.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
I like those.
Pretty interesting. I'm not too familiar with my Japanese lore, so I could be completely wrong. Don't hate me if I am.
Your
But
turn.
that's what I remember. Anyways.
Go, Geisha. Drop it.
Okay, so my story, not so much supernatural, but pretty interesting. Okay.
Real life is scarier.
Yeah. On December 24th, 1971, Christmas Eve, Julianne and her mother Maria boarded a flight from Lima to Pucallpa in Peru to join her father for Christmas. Okay. Flight started smoothly, but about halfway through, the plane entered a thunderstorm. So took off. Plane ride's fine. Enters a thunderstorm. Halfway through, the lightning hit the fuselage. Fuselage.
Fuselage.
Fuselage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the plane broke into 1,000 pieces at 10,000 feet in the air. Julia was, how old was she? 17 at the time? Hold on. I think she was born in 1957 and it happened in 71.
I almost did this story.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
I
See, look,
almost
you have
did.
it too.
Yeah, I almost
Yeah.
did it.
But anyways, she was still strapped in her seat and she was free falling from 10,000 feet. She crashed into the jungle canopy and she broke her collarbone. She had a torn kneecap and my notes are all scattered. I don't like this.
Jeez.
How old was she? 17?
Let me scroll up a little bit because I tried to condense my notes and some things were kind of missed.
Yo, a kneecap though?
Yeah, poor girl.
You ain't walking very well.
Well, how far did she drop from? 3,000
She said
feet?
10,000.
10,000. So she was, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just going to go off of these notes. These notes are better. So she was 13 years old. She was in her seat. She fell nearly 2 miles from the sky into the jungle
Could you imagine falling?
after her plane got struck by lightning and she was with her mom. Her mom and dad were jungle zoologists. So they taught her how to find water, avoid predators, navigate the jungle already. So that's why they were in Peru. So she crashed. Her mother, she lost her mother in the disaster. Her mother didn't survive the plane crash. And then
Yeah, so she was the only survivor, right?
I don't know. I think so. Maybe.
I think I read that was the thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is even scarier.
Yeah.
Did she survive? What's up?
She did survive. She survived 11 days in the jungle by herself with broken body parts after falling from a plane.
That's insane.
I'd be terrified.
When she woke up the next morning, she was alone. She had a concussion, a broken collarbone, a deep cut on her leg. Her right eye was swollen shut,
Oh my god.
but she survived by what her mother and father taught her. She only found fragments of the plane and a few scattered seeds, so I don't think she ever found like another human body.
Oh,
That's wild.
So I don't know if it like did it blow up and then she trajected away from it, or like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
it probably
fell
just
just-
like.
I mean, she's light too, and she's falling 2 miles. Like her
That's
body.
crazy. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
She remembers her father teaching her, like, if you get lost in the jungle, you find running water, you follow it downstream, and it can lead to people, right? Good thing to
That's smart.
remember. But she survived on rainwater that she sipped from leaves. She found a bag of candy amongst the wreckage, which was her only food. Her wounds became infested with maggots.
Well, that's good because maggots kind of clean your wounds.
Yeah,
Depends
maggots.
on the type of maggot.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true. And her skin burned under the harsh sun, so she was super
Ooh,
sunburned.
yeah.
But she kept moving.
That's
She kept
smart.
moving.
She's resilient.
Yeah.
At night, she laid on the ground in her mini dress, shivering and listening to the sounds of the rainforest. You know, frogs, bats, howls a monkey,
Yeah.
and just completely alone, all by herself.
Terrifying.
She was 11.
I thought you said 13.
You said 13.
I meant 11.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
She was 11.
Your story. Damn, 11 years old, man. That's like
Oh wait, was she 13 and then she lasted for 11 days?
Yes.
Okay, there you
Okay,
go. So she
okay.
was 13 and she survived 11 days. I'm sorry.
so. That's Tiana's age. And
Yeah.
Anthony is
And-
surviving 11 days by themselves.
11 days by herself. On the 10th day, she stumbled upon a small boat marooned near a hut.
I'm gonna need you to start researching a little earlier.
I know. I got the text, but then I totally forgot about it until 2 seconds before we started recording.
But she
So that's why
ended
my
up
notes are all
at a
discombobulated. Yes. So on the
Okay.
11th day, she stumbled upon a small boat near a hut. Inside the
Okay.
hut, she found a can of gasoline.
Okay.
So using the knowledge that her parents taught her, she poured the gasoline into her wound to remove the maggots.
Oh my god, could you imagine how much that burned?
Yeah, that probably hurt a lot. Soon after that, a group of local lumberers returned from lumbering all day to the hut. And they were shocked to find this girl inside of their hut looking like a ghost. At first, they thought she was a forest spirit.
And they shot her.
But when she spoke in Spanish, they realized that she was human and desperately needed help. They took her to the nearby village, then to a hospital, and after 11 days alone in the jungle, she was safe. Her mother did pass away in the plane crash, but her father was still there.
Oh, he survived?
Yeah, well, because they were going to meet her. No, remember
he
her
wasn't.
dad?
Oh, he wasn't on the plane.
No, he wasn't
Oh,
on the
okay.
plane. They were traveling from point A to point B to spend Christmas with.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
with.
sorry, I got lost with all the other
Can
stuff.
you imagine like Christmas Eve and you're there waiting for your wife and your daughter, come to find out that the plane got hit by lightning and they're both probably dead, and then 11 days later finding out that your 13-year-old daughter fell from the sky
Yeah.
and lived.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, can you, man, to imagine she had to travel with a torn kneecap?
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about, man. That's probably the most painful
Yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Like, I'm sure the collarbone was painful, but gosh dang, when you
Yeah,
like
her
when you tear like
eyeball
your
was
meniscus
like,
or something, it's just bone grinding on bone.
yeah, it was like shown
girl.
shown shut.
Sewn.
Oh yeah, you said it was swollen shut.
Mm-hmm. Swollen shut.
Swollen.
To this day, she has become a biologist herself, following her parents' footsteps. And she has dedicated her life to study and protect the rainforest that nearly killed her.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's
Yes.
pretty cool though.
That is pretty cool.
Yep.
Turned her tragedy into something cool.
Yes, here's a picture of her. Can you guys see it?
Oh, nice.
There's a picture of her.
Oh.
And I think they did actually make a movie of this as well. I was trying to find the picture of her. There's a picture of her like in the hospital bed. I don't think this is.
Maybe that's from the movie.
Yeah, I think that's from the movie.
Dang, that's wild. Well, good thing she survived.
Yeah.
Good thing. I mean, circumstances were bad, but like thankfully her parents gave her like
The knowledge.
the exact knowledge
Mhm.
that she needed for this instance.
Right? It's crazy.
Yeah, because I know majority of the kids nowadays, if they fall 2 miles from an airplane with a torn meniscus or a torn kneecap,
Oh yeah, torn kneecap.
shattered collarbone, shattered
Bone.
Yeah, they're not
And a
surviving.
concussion.
They're not surviving.
And a concussion.
That's crazy. That was a
Yeah.
good story.
So she fell approximately 10,000 feet.
Oh,
That alone is crazy.
yeah, maybe she
Well, girl,
survived because she
man.
was so small. Like,
Yeah.
you know how their bodies are just like.
I know, but like maybe the trees helped her impact. I mean, because
Yeah.
you falling that
That's
much
what I'm
and
saying,
you
'cause
hit
she
the
was so
ground.
small.
When I looked this up, it said she was still attached to her like row of seats too.
Oh,
so I think
okay.
that kind of helped cushion her fall.
Oh, mine just says she was still attached to her seat, so I was only imagining like one seat, and it was bot flies.
Oh,
Okay.
those are the ones that go on your skin,
Well,
right?
there's two different kinds of bot flies. So there's like the really helpful kind and then like not helpful kind.
But yes, it
I
was.
think one's from
bot
like a
flies.
black fly and then the other one's from like a different fly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that happy, kind of sad story.
I'm glad she survived.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, she
And
did
she
survive.
only had that bag of candy.
Yep,
Poor girl.
Jeez.
crazy. But yeah, her mom and dad taught her everything she needed to know to survive in the jungle.
I'm impressed.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, most kids nowadays probably wouldn't be able to survive that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, there's a documentary called Wings of Hope.
Wings of Hope.
Yeah,
If
if
you
you're
want to learn
interested.
more about Julianne.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want to go, Az?
Yeah,
And go
I'll do
for
my
it.
last one.
Yep.
So for my last story, I'm going to look into one of the most notorious and strangest hauntings in the American West.
Ooh.
The Black Forest haunting of El Paso County, Colorado. And it's in Colorado, so you know it's creepy.
That was like a mouthful, but you
That
said it
was.
really. Now, back, but like, okay.
So, despite what you may be thinking, this is not an urban legend. This haunting was documented on national television, investigated by researchers, and witnessed by dozens of people, including skeptics. So you know there was some people out there really digging into this story. And so while the activity centered on a specific house, many believe the entire forest is active, that the Black Forest itself is haunted. So just northeast of Colorado Springs, the Black Forest spans over 100,000 acres of dense pine and secluded wilderness. Locals have long reported strange occurrences in the area, from ghost sightings to unexplained lights. But in the early 1990s, things escalated when the Lee family moved into a 2-story log home in the heart of the forest. So Steve and Beth Lee were a normal couple with 2 young sons looking for a quiet place to raise their family. But what they got was anything but peaceful. So shortly after moving in, the Lees began noticing unusual disturbances. Footsteps on the second floor when nobody was there, doors opening and slamming shut, lights turning on and off. Their children even reported hearing voices at night, like whispering or crying, and then sometimes somebody calling their name. Then came the shadowy figures, dark shapes that moved across walls or stood silently at the foot of the bed. The family's dog would bark at empty corners or refuse to enter certain rooms. At first, believe animals. When they don't like something, believe them.
That's what I'm saying. If your dog doesn't want to go in that room, do not go in that room.
Yep.
Think of The Conjuring when the dog refused to go inside the house.
God.
So at first, Steve believed someone might be breaking into the house, so he installed motion detectors and infrared security cameras. But what the cameras captured was far more disturbing than an intruder. On several occasions, the security cameras recorded unexplained lights, like orb-like flashes, and even mist-like forms manifesting inside the house. In one instance, a human-shaped shadow passed directly in front of the camera with no physical person in the room. So the Lees had reported over 60 documented instances of paranormal activity.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Unable to make any sense of it, they contacted parapsychologists Barry Taff and Carrie Gaynor.
Are they a conjuring person?
No, that's
They must.
Lorraine and Ed Warren.
These guys must be
Warren, yeah, Warren.
known.
Researchers affiliated with UCLA, known for investigating high-profile hauntings, including the famous Entity case in the
my God.
1970s.
That's what I just said.
So Taff and Gaynor were skeptical until they witnessed the activity themselves. They saw lights appear from nowhere. They experienced sudden cold spots. They watched as shadow figures seemed to move with intent. So this is all to say that in Colorado, nothing good happens there.
Yeah.
So one of the members of the investigative team said, whatever is here, it knows we're watching. So in 1995, the case was featured on the TV series Sightings, bringing national attention to the Black Forest haunting. The show brought their own crew, psychics, and equipment to the house. Their cameras picked up anomalous flashes, electromagnetic spikes, and unusual audio disturbances. One psychic claimed there was a spiritual portal on the property, a kind of rift where entities could pass through.
That's no bueno.
This is like the house thing. The house is haunted. Multiple team members reported seeing a dark figure in the woods, never moving, always watching. So Steve Lee even claimed that on one occasion he pursued the figure into the forest and blacked out. When he came to, 2 hours had passed, and he had scratch marks all across his back. So what was it?
A motherfucking demon.
That's crazy.
Some believe it was the result of traumatic energy imprinted on the land, possibly tied to Native American history or violent past events.
Told you. That bad juju energy hangs out.
It does. Others suggest the house was built on a spiritual vortex, amplifying paranormal phenomena. Skeptics have pointed to psychological stress or even the possibility of a hoax. Like, you know, when there's a lot of, like, wavelengths, like radio waves or something, it can, like, mess with your, like, signals in your brain. So you get, like, this weird feeling even though nothing is wrong. So that's what I assume that they're talking about. Though no definitive evidence of fraud has ever been found. So it's like, this is probably real. The documentation from multiple independent investigators make the case especially difficult to dismiss. Eventually the Lees moved out, but the haunting didn't stop. Subsequent owners and neighbors have reported similar activity, mysterious lights, footsteps, and that same unsettling feeling of being watched. To this day, campers in the Black Forest still report seeing a shadowy figure standing silently between the trees. It doesn't speak, it doesn't move, but if you stare too long, it disappears.
And throws up gang signs.
Oh my goodness.
So paranormal, psychological, something in between, whatever the explanation, the Black Forest remains one of the most thoroughly documented hauntings in the United States.
I'm starting to think negatively of these investigators, Taff and whatever. Like
Gaynor.
Yeah, Taff and Gaynor. There's the two that we talked about. It does not seem like they have successfully.
No, they're the skeptics though. They investigate to disprove it.
But they don't do anything so why are they called to help?
To disprove that it's paranormal.
I mean, I can go into a building and be like, yep, it's scary.
You don't have any, like, credentials, though.
I'll just be like, hey, I have a master's degree.
Yeah, not in parapsychology.
Wild.
Wild. That's scary.
So if you ever find yourself hiking in El Paso County and the forest suddenly goes quiet, you might want to keep walking.
And run.
How about you just not go hiking in
Or don't
Colorado?
look too hard into the trees. You might not like what looks bad.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's
Isn't
spooky.
that is an actual saying about if you look into the shadows
Well, that was on
too long, the shadows
Solo
will look bad.
Leveling.
It wasn't from Solo Leveling, is what I'm saying. They just took it.
He's like, if you
It's a-
stare into the shadows stare back.
Yeah, it's an old quote.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like a saying that people
Yeah,
do.
from back in the
Okay.
day.
All right.
But
Well,
that's mine.
that was a good one.
The Black Forest.
Okay. I got one more. It's called the Phantom Hitchhiker of I-90. So that's in Washington.
Ooh.
Okay. So late night, Eastern Washington.
Also, I-90 runs west to east, in case people don't know that.
Isn't it, if it's even, it runs horizontal. If it's odd, it rolls horizontal
Vertical.
or vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So late night, Eastern Washington, the fog's rolling in across a stretch of the interstate. It's so empty, it feels like another dimension. You're driving alone, headlights slicing through the dark, then you see her, a girl on the side of the road with no shoes, no bag, just staring at the asphalt. You pull over, she gets in without a word, just sits quietly, staring straight ahead. A few minutes pass, and then it's a voice that gives you chills. She whispers, "It's back." You look over, and she's gone. Tonight,
Spooky.
yeah, we're going to talk about one of Washington's lesser-known paraphernalia.
Paraphernalia.
Paranormal legends. A case that popped in. It popped up because of truckers would talk about it, and then it was also on like Reddit threads and yeah, stuff like that. And there's a lot of forums about the phantom hitchhiker of I-90 and the drivers who claimed that they seen her and they barely survived her.
Hey man, I get creeped out driving at night, just like on a normal road. So I can only imagine how people feel on I-90.
Yeah. So one of the earliest accounts comes from a retired trucker named Manuel Ruiz. In 2003, he was heading eastern towards Spokane after delivery. It was 2:30, low fog on the road. Visibility was about 20 feet. As he crested a hill near a gravel turnout, he saw what he thought was a teenager walking barefoot down a shoulder. In my experience of what I've watched, you don't slow down for people barefoot walking down a highway. But
There's signs that say don't pick up hitchhikers.
yeah. So she was wearing a light jacket, nothing that made sense for a 30-degree weather. As he passed her, she looked directly into his cab, not at him, but like through this man. He didn't stop, but he put his CB or his like CB lit up with another driver saying, "Hey, did you see that girl back there?" Another replied, "Same one I saw last week. Do not stop." Ruiz chalked it up to fatigue until he pulled over an hour later and found long scratches, not dents, not branches that scraped it, but it looked like claw marks that scratched his trailer doors.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was kind of spooky.
Yeah.
So in 2012, a 911 call was logged from a driver named Chris Holloway, who just pulled over to help a barefoot girl walking along the same stretch that Ruiz did. Here's what he told the dispatcher. She said something's coming. I asked her where she lived. She wouldn't say. Then she looked at me and said, "You should leave now. It's back." Moments later, the call dropped. Police arrived to find the vehicle empty, but the engine was running. Hazard lights on, the doors were open. They found Chris a mile up the road, dazed, walking on oncoming traffic. He had no injuries, just confusion and memory loss. He couldn't remember where he'd gone or how he even gotten there. To this day, that call is available in public records. What isn't explained is what happened in the 11 minutes between the drop call and when he was found. So it's like a real thing.
Interesting.
Descriptions of the girl from all the posts that have been on multiple forums, some buried, some deleted, some still on there. They describe the person as a teenage girl, dirty with pale feet. Not sure why her feet's a big thing. Hair matted like it's been wet. Her eyes extremely dark as if they're blank. Clothing from another era, often described as like the 70s or 80s. What the fuck? It's not even that far away. How dare they say era like that? And some always say that she never speaks until she says the same phrase, "It's back," and then she disappears. Theories of who she is. There was a major theory people tossed around, some grounded in folklore, others way more unsettling. Theory one is that it was a classic hitchhiker ghost. Maybe she died in the 70s and now she replays her final moments on loop. Maybe it's a warning to whoever killed her every time she says it's back. Theory two is time slip or liminal entity, where some believe she's not a ghost at all, but a bleed through of another reality, a thin spot in time or dimension where she's repeated kind of like glitching over and over.
The Matrix is glitching.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What do they call them? It's like when it's like the same. They do the same thing over and over because they're stuck in like a loop. I'll think of the word.
And then theory 3 is she's not a threat, but something else is. So she's like the messenger of something that's creepy about to come get you, not a ghost, but like the reference of a demon or something that killed her that's coming back. She's not the haunting, but she's hiding on it, I guess, in a way. So a woman on TikTok claimed that her father once refused to stop for a girl matching this description, but later turned around when his truck hazards lights kicked in for no reason. When he looked in the rearview mirror, the girl was sitting in his sleeper cab staring at him. She vanished mid-turn. The man quit driving that route ever since that happened. Another Reddit user said that they never saw her, but once after stopping to help someone in that area, they lost 40 minutes of time, as if like it was just gone. I don't. Maybe you were just helping him that a long time, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess.
So a lot of people say it could be like sleep deprivation since they're drivers, truck drivers. Like most of the time they're tired or hyped up off like caffeine pills. They're just like kind of awake but not awake.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I feel like truck drivers have to be really safe. Well, maybe there's some that are not safe.
Yeah, I don't know. Hauntings are one thing. They usually happen in places though. Homes like asylums, cemeteries. They call those fucking investigators that we've been talking about. But this is like a moving danger where it's just like on a whole route. It's just interesting. I don't know. If I saw a ghost like that, man, I would not be stopping. I would not be looking back in my mirror.
I
would
don't
just
stop for hitchhikers, period.
Yeah, I'm just driving. I'm not doing that.
Sometimes I get tempted when I see somebody on the side of the road with a dog, but I don't stop.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get tempted when it's pouring down raining and I see like a lady pushing like her kids in a thing, and I'm like, maybe I should help her. But I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Only for animals.
Yeah.
You have one, babe?
I have a short one, but I feel like I mentioned this before, but in Hawaii, there's a legend about Pele, the goddess.
The soccer player?
No.
The lady.
I know, it's
she's
a joke. Pele.
Don't joke about it, sir.
Is she the fire monster from Moana, or
No.
is she the nice one?
I haven't seen
What are you
Moana.
talking
I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like Moana is based off of a Tahitian
Oh,
kind of
Tahiti.
lore.
never mind.
Yeah, like Tahitian type of lore instead of Hawaiian. Anyways, Pele is a goddess in Hawaii, and it's said that she walks on the side of... I feel like I've said this on the podcast before, that she walks on the side of the road as an old woman dressed in white or a young lady dressed in red. And if you don't stop and offer her a ride, she's going to burn down your house.
Well, I've
the
never heard
lava.
you say this before, but that's insane.
She's a volcano goddess.
So if you don't stop her,
Yeah,
she's just
okay.
like, you're pretty much dead.
Let me show you.
Yeah.
Show us what?
The Moana
The Moana.
scene.
Isn't that Tahiti?
No, that's the nice one, I
Tahiti.
think.
I don't know.
No, she's the fire goddess, and then she's like, I know who you are, and then she puts the thing on it, and she turns into the good goddess.
Tafiti?
She turns into the good goddess.
I don't know.
It's like the same person. The lava lady is the same person as the good one at the end.
Yeah, well, I think Moana's based off of more of Tahitian than Hawaiian.
I know who you are. She puts the thing on him. Okay.
But yeah, so there is that legend in Hawaii about Pele. So I don't know. If I was in Hawaii, I'd pull over and be like, "Hey, auntie, you want to ride?"
And if
then
she's in white or red, or she can be in both.
she can be an old lady in white walking down the street, or she can be a young lady in red walking down the street.
Yeah. If
And you
she's
have to stop and be like,
You
"Hey,
have to.
auntie, you need a ride? Like, you okay?" And most of the time, I don't know. I feel most of the time she says, "No, I'm good," and then she leaves you alone. But sometimes, if I don't know, I don't know if she actually gets in the car. I just know that you're supposed to offer her help, and if you don't offer her help, when the volcano blows up, she's gonna burn down your house.
Well, whenever you guys go back, remember that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, I don't
just a
plan.
legend.
I don't plan on going anywhere. But if I see somebody barefoot walking down in a white dress or a red dress, like, hey.
In Hawaii, not in Washington.
Yeah.
What is she gonna do in
Hawaii?
Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Washington, they're probably a serial killer.
Yeah.
That's where they all are from here.
Yeah. Anyways, I have a really, really short one about some twins.
More
The,
twins.
the Erickson twins.
No, the Padlock twins.
The Padlock twins.
Yep.
Okay.
From 1957 to 1960 in England.
Is this the ones about Leonardo DiCaprio?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Leonardo DiCaprio, his brother, he's like a king, and he wears the man in the iron mask.
Oh.
This is girl twins.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry for interrupting you.
Thank you for your apology. Let me tell my story. It's very short, very, very short.
Drop it.
So the Padlock twins were born, or they were, hold on. So in 1957, two young girls, sisters, Joanna and Jacqueline Padlock, they were 11 and 6. So they're not the twins, okay? Not yet. Twins are coming. They tragically died in a car accident in England. A year later, their mother gave birth to two twins, Jennifer and Jillian. As they grew up, the twins started to display knowledge of their deceased sisters. They recognized toys that belonged to Joanna and Jacqueline and was like, oh, this is Joanna's, or oh, this is Jacqueline's, without even saying, people telling them who they are. They knew details of their old house and the neighbors that used to visit, and then details of the car accident. Jennifer also had a birthmark on her forehead similar to Jacqueline's scar, and both had and another one on her wrist in the same spot Jacqueline had a birthmark.
Oh, spooky.
Yeah. So up to 5 years, these two twins spoke about the accidents, about events that happened in their old sisters' lives, but as they got older, the memories faded.
That's crazy.
Reincarnation.
That was my next point. The stories have been cited by some researchers, including Ivan Stevenson, as possible evidence of reincarnation.
I thought you were about to say those fucking Taff and whatever again. I was like, these guys are everywhere.
No. However, some speculate that it could be explained by subconscious, like mother's influences and hearing stories about them and so on and so forth. Or a coincidence.
It is very interesting.
I like the reincarnation
Yeah, I
idea.
like the whole idea of them
But they knew like a bunch of stuff about their
previous siblings.
previous siblings before their car accident and details of the car accident.
That's crazy.
But if you're
Interesting.
reincarnated, you wouldn't forget, right?
Yeah.
No,
Well, maybe if you're,
you would.
Yeah, maybe if you're like, yeah, you might.
I mean, nobody remembers if reincarnation is a real thing, right? You don't remember your past life.
And it's very interesting that they remember this stuff too. I mean, okay, obviously they might have heard some things in passing, but for them to be that young to like, oh, I'm gonna make up this story is kind of crazy.
I did hear once though, I don't know where I heard it from or whatever, but you know when you get deja vu, that's like your past life trying to bleed into your present life.
Interesting.
It's like trying to break through and break out and have you remember, but what you're remembering is the deja vu that you're having.
Well, when I
Something like that.
think of deja vu, I recall Neo saying deja vu, and you gotta watch out because Agent Smith is probably around the corner.
Oh my God, that's not even what I'm talking about.
I said my experience with it, not yours.
So every time you have deja vu, you remember Neo and
Agent Smith. Yeah. Every time I have deja vu, I'm like, is the Matrix seeping through?
Is it glitching?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I have a deja vu a lot.
Really?
Yeah, like a lot.
Is your past life bleeding through?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Or Agent Smith.
Yeah.
Or agents?
Or the Matrix glitching.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody say that where you have a birthmark is where you died in your previous
That's what
life?
you told me, so I don't know.
Oh. I have heard that before, though. I don't know where I heard it, but I have heard it. Like, your birthmark is where you... your birthmark is how you died in your previous life, and the face that you have now is the face that you fell in love with in your previous life.
So my face is the man that I fell in love with before.
Yep.
Goddamn. Was I a lady back then?
I don't know. Who knows
You
about
could've
your
been a
previous
man.
life?
Yeah, I think I'd be.
Could have been both.
I think I'd be a fine ass female. I'm just saying. I got a sense of humor, and I'd slay. You kidding me?
But that's what I've heard.
All right. Well, that's
About
all. That's all we
reincarnation.
got. That's all the spooky stories we got.
Spooky. Mine weren't that spooky.
Hey, yours was good though.
I
Like you had
think
the Survivor
real
one.
life is scarier
Yeah.
than
Real life
supernatural.
is apparently
paranormal
ours
stories.
is real. Taff and Gardner or Gaynor or whatever
The
the UCLA people.
Colorado is part of like the Appalachian.
Appalachian.
Right?
Appalachian.
Well, are you saying it wrong? Appalachians.
Appalachian? How do you say it?
Appalachian.
Appalachian.
I don't
Appalachian.
think it's Appalachian.
I don't think it's
I'm
Appalachian.
pretty sure it's
Assyrian.
regional.
We're not gonna get into
Assyrian.
this. You can look at it later. but I'm pretty sure it's Appalachian.
No,
Just
it,
let her.
it's regional.
Appalachian.
Appalachian?
Appalachian?
I've heard people say Appalachian.
Appalachian? Appalachian?
Wait, okay, hold on. Let's see
Appalachian?
if it'll play.
Appalachian? What the? Appalachian?
Appalachian. We're way
It
off.
says Appalachian.
Appalachian Mountains.
I mean, you're closer than
But
mine.
it's definitely regional because if you go on TikTok, there's like two guys. One's from the region and then one's not, and they said it completely different.
Okay.
So
I don't know.
All right. Well, that's all we got. Until next time, keep grinding those levels and finishing those side quests. Oh, I need to change my camera because it's over here. Yeah. Yeah.
as always, this has been Go Up Chronicles with Pint-Sized Geisha, Blacklabel, and me, Azzilee.
Bye. Appalachian.
Appalachian?
Appalachian? I don't know.
I'll show you the TikTok video afterwards.
We gather round the mic. Tales of
I should do a whole podcast on Hawaiian gods and goddesses. Educational purposes.
That'd be fun.
hobbies come alive.
You could be you could put it on your Patreon. Just you.
Yeah.
Black labels wearing
If we had a Patreon.
We do.
Oh, we do. Maybe we should have
I
one-on-one
just haven't
sessions.
activated it, but we have one.
That's a good idea.
to unfold.
Unreleased ones.
Unreleased ones. Join the Patreon to learn about the Hawaiian gods and goddesses and how to avoid getting your house burned down by lava.
Oh my god, let the music play.
Co-op